Someone's f***ing with me. This is abandoned items, where I find abandoned items on the street, in the park, whatever. I talk about them, photograph them, and then I do a poem about them. And someone who I assume must have been watching these videos is f***ing with me. Sorry, I don't swear on this channel very much at all. It's not because I don't like swearing, I think it's f***ing brilliant, but I just choose to limit it on here. Yeah, someone's f***ing with me, and it has properly got under my skin. I'm a whirlwind of emotions. I can't think straight. My head's gone, and I am going to tell you about this sinister thing that has happened to me. This thing that sent me into a bit of a mental tailspin and left me quivering in the corner, a desperate, paranoid shell of a man. Metaphorically speaking, I just can't make sense of it. But first, let's just do a couple of normal abandoned items. Might calm me down a bit. Although actually, this first one stinks a bit of someone messing with me too, because I found these abandoned items in my own front garden. At first, I thought a dustbin had been tipped over and assumed this apparent littering was the work of the local foxes. This wasn't unusual, as the foxes round here are as sly as foxes, and they can pretty much get into any supposedly fox-proof bin. But when I looked more closely, I realised this wasn't bin debris at all. It was a trio of unopened trays of dog food from Tails.com. Tender pate with chicken and rice, country terrine with rabbits and carrots, and country casserole with chicken, potato and green beans. Sounds more like a Sunday dinner at my mum's house. But seriously, I'm vegetarian, so... Anyway, I thought, right, if it's not foxes, who left 3 trays of high-class designer dog food in our front garden? And it is designer. I looked it up. This stuff is properly mint. Look, Liz says their dog Rocky loves it, and Amy says she loves not having to think about buying dog food at the supermarket. I love not having to think about buying dog food at the supermarket too, and that's one of the many reasons why I do not own a dog, although it's not the main one. The main one is the fact that you have to pick up their feces. But why would anyone chuck designer dog food over our fence? The only thing I can think of is that it's a sort of threat or a warning. You know, a sort of you better watch out or you'll be turned into dog meat type thing. A bit like when the mafia leave a horse's head in someone's bed, only much more low rent. I mean, if it's not that, I'm completely baffled. The meat and drink of a veteran abandoned items chronicler like myself are the hats and the gloves, and we've ruminated upon them before. Over the course of the autumn and winter, I've been photographing all of the hats and gloves that I've found, and now I've put them together in a moving montage set to evocative music. So, before we move on and discover exactly why I think someone is f***ing with me, sit back, relax, and envelop yourself in the haunting, morose beauty of abandoned knitwear. So now we come to it. Fans of abandoned items will know that I like to end these videos with a carefully crafted poem worthy of the great pantheon of poets produced by this country. All butter, butter, butter pastry. What does it mean?
Lettuce, lettuce, Alan Fettis.
I work hard on those poems. I dig down deep into my soul to deliver something more than the usual vacuous nonsense you get on YouTube. My aim is to create art that will move you. And I think I usually succeed. Where is its body? Now, I found some pretty odd stuff when making these videos. There was this weird doll, the lettuce that was probably a cabbage, and the 4 empty cans of Shaw in an H&M bag. So, I'm pretty hardened to this stuff. Very few things shock me. But I admit it. This next thing shook me to my very core. It's a poem. And not any poem, but The Wind Hover by Gerard Manley Hopkins. Next to an old Brita water filter jug, which was weird, but let's not go into that. It's the poem that left me rattled. Why? Because no one abandons poems. It just doesn't happen. Have you ever seen an abandoned poem? No? So you see my point. And if we take that as fact, the only conclusion I can draw is that this poem was left specifically for me. Someone watches my videos and my poems, and so left this poem, and possibly the Brita water filter jug, for me. Someone is f***ing with me. Because what are they saying with this poem? Is it a joke? Do they think it's funny? What do they want me to do with it? Is it a comment on my poetry, offering me this classic poem to contrast with what they bizarrely consider to be my inferior work? And why The Wind Hover? Because I don't think this poem was chosen by chance. Firstly, I studied a wind hover at A-level under the tutelage of the legendary English teacher Lawrence of Mar. Secondly, it's a favourite poem of my good friend Frank Skinner, and we actually shared a few texts about the wind hover last year after he featured it in his excellent poetry podcast. So how did the person who left this poem know that it would have some resonance with me? And then there's the subject matter. A majestic bird of prey that eventually swoops to make a devastating kill. That final line, gash gold vermilion, is the chilling imagery of a kestrel ripping apart an innocent bunny rabbit. Is it a sort of threat? Is it a warning that I'm being watched from above, possibly from the upstairs window of the house outside of which the poem was left? Like, I'm the prey, and they're the kestrel planning a vicious attack on my tender, tasty breast. As I said, this whole thing has left me shaken. I think it is a warning, and I've decided to take it as a warning, and I'm going to heed it. So I'm not going to be penning my own poem for this video. Instead, I'm just going to perform this great poem by the peerless Gerard Manley Hopkins. And if you're watching person who left that poem, and I hope you are, and I assume you are, I hope this sates your bloodlust. I caught this morning morning's minion, kingdom of daylight dolphin, dappled dawn-drawn falcon in his riding. Of the rolling level underneath him, steady air and striding. Hi there! How he rung upon the rein of a wimpling wing. In his ecstasy. Then off forth on swing. As a skate's heel sweeps smooth on a bow bend, oh, and gliding, rebuffed the big wind. My heart in hiding, stirred for a bird, the achieve of the mastery of the thing. Brute beauty and valour and act, O air, pride, plume, here. Buckle! And the fire that breaks from thee then, a billion times told lovelier, more dangerous. Oh, my chevalier! No wonder of it. Sheer plod makes plough down Sicilian shine, and blue bleak embers. Ah, my dear. Fall, gall themselves, and gash gold vermilion.